Hi, I'm Issie Barratt and I'm the Artistic Director of the National Youth Jazz Collective. Welcome to our hashtag National Youth Jazz, Jazz on a Summer's Eve. And here's my dear friend, the Programme Manager of NYJC, Nick Brown. Hi, Nick.
Hi, good evening and welcome.
So what are you doing, gate crashing my broadcast?
Well, I thought, it is day 5, so day 6 even.
Day 6,
So
last one.
it
This is
is.
it, the last hour of us
I thought I
working
should
together
jump
on the
in.
summer school. So you did a head count of sessions, didn't you? How many sessions have we done altogether this week?
Over 250 this week, which is
Unbelievable.
crazy thinking about that as a figure.
63 young musicians in 8 combos, 8 combo tutors, 3 guest artists working on television and recording in the studio. Then we've had quite a few people come by to do one-to-one lessons and sectionals as well. And then myself rotating around to sort of emulate a session, seeing what it feels like to play as a session musician. How's it been for you? Nick, have you enjoyed the experience? I think you've definitely been a cross between Starship Enterprise and the Wizard of Oz.
I mean, there's been a lot of clicking, a lot of buttons, but it's been absolutely incredible. I think we've had an incredible team of tutors, an incredible team of facilitators. We've had an incredible artistic director
Oh,
and an incredible team of participants and a group of participants who just couldn't have got on with the situation any better. They've been absolutely fantastic.
so just to forewarn everybody that's watching, today particularly, my connection with Wi-Fi seems to be hiccuping every now and again. So if I disappear, don't worry, because the other people we carry on talking, and I come back on my broomstick within no time at all. So it has been an amazing week, and it has also been a week that we couldn't foresee. We had no idea. We had nothing to measure it against. We had no idea what it was going to be like. But we knew that we had an amazing team that we are going to be working with, and we knew that the young musicians were in good hands. But what we didn't realise is what good hands we were all in, thanks to the young musicians. It has been an absolutely amazing week. Just a few quick headlines before we start to bring some of the people we've been working with to the stage to talk to us about things. We feel really confident about the way things are going. We didn't know how our future was when we first started out, going to be in March. Could we work online? Could we make it happen? Well, what are we going to do from September onwards? Well, the good news is, first of all, I'd like to tell you that we are announcing the dates for next year's summer school, and it's going to be the 22nd to the 29th of August 2021. Where are we going to be going, Nick?
We are going back to sunny Repton in South Derbyshire, where we've been. We were there last year, so yeah, we're going to return to South Derbyshire in Repton.
And that's fantastic news. And obviously, should something happen where we're not allowed to go anywhere, don't worry, because we've got plan B, which is we know it works online. Then also to say that we are going to have a festival on the 1st and the 8th of October. We'd really like to share with you the work we've been doing this week, because there was a lot of production involved in it, and there's a little bit of tweaking here and there, both video wise and sound wise. Then we need a little bit of extra time. And Nick, you and I don't think we've got a little bit of extra time after 6 o'clock today, because where are we going?
Absolutely, we're going on holiday. Well, not holiday anywhere, but we're going on annual leave for some well-deserved rest, I
We
think.
definitely are, and we'll be back again on the 10th of October, a bit generous there. So, but when we get back, the 1st of October, we'll have Mark Hodgson and Kathy Dyson, Byron Wallen and Ralph Wild's group will be joining us. And then on the 8th of October, Jason Yard, Roland Sutherland, Sam Watts and Alison Corley's group will be joining us. So 90% of our young musicians normally go on to conservatoire, and we had a fantastic 2 visits from the conservatoire heads of departments, and there was a great session yesterday talking about things, and things are really moving forward that way. I just want to also share the fact that if you would like to know more about what is going to be happening from September onwards, I really would urge you to sign up for our newsletter. The reason is that there's lots happening that we put in the newsletter that we may not have the time to actually then go onto social media, but also we will be sort of, because that's the key audience coming through the newsletter, there are things that we will be offering that are only to those that have signed up for the newsletter. So Nick, might we get in there really quickly and say, how do you sign up for the newsletter?
Absolutely, to sign up to the newsletter, it is nationalyouthjazz.co.uk/sign up.
And if you would like to know about the repertoire that we've been learning, and you want to actually learn some of it ahead of the 1st and the 8th of October, we will be sharing next Wednesday as our part of our National Youth Jazz, our hashtag National Youth Jazz Wednesday. We'll be sharing the Spotify playlist of all the repertoire that we've been learning and as well as the YouTube playlist of all the sessions that we've been running at 5 o'clock every evening. So that'll be great. Then next week also, our hashtag National Youth Jazz Wednesday. After that, the week after next rather, we'll be focusing on the the Jazz Centre UK and the National Jazz Archive. We've been talking to them about their resources and their inspirational resources for you to share. And then the week after that, we're going to be revisiting, talking to a very dear friend of ours who I'm going to bring to the stage now. We're going to be talking to Michael Price. We're going to be sharing his new website, and we're going to be sharing his YouTube channel. Tell us all about your composers in Composer in Conversation. Hello, Michael.
Hello, Issie. Thank you so much for the privilege of being part of this week, and thank you to all the students who have gone on an emotional journey with me in an hour and 20-minute sessions in the afternoon talking about music for film and TV. It's just been a privilege how everybody has shared so openly and really kind of got into the characters and got into the way of thinking about composing music for film and TV. And yeah, just to mention a little bit about the Composer Coffee Break series of interviews that I did, interviewing other composers, a whole range of other composers from around the world, some super experienced ones, and then some of the latest and greatest young stars in film and TV music. They're all on my YouTube channel, which is if you search for Michael Price Music and on YouTube, then you can go and find those, or also you can get to them via michaelpricemusic.com, my fancy new website, as he kindly says. And I'm basically, during lockdown, I think there was a really great need for connection. I think a lot of people felt dislocated, and a lot of people felt disorientated at that time. And I think doing 12 interviews with composers, most of whom were friends, but some who became new friends, was, I think, a way for me staying connected. But it seems to have become a bit of a resource for musicians and for anybody interested in either creativity or composition. Then the people that I talked to were incredibly generous with their time and insights. So they're definitely worth a look.
Definitely worth a look. Really insightful. And I think the young musicians you've been working with, a lot of things that you've been talking to them about will really sort of resonate. They'll start to see, you know, the professionals talking about it as an everyday consideration and how they're involved. I'm wondering how, after our conversation at 1 o'clock, how are we going to share an insight during that festival on the 1st and the 8th of October? How are we going to share an insight into what the young musicians were doing?
Yeah, I think because the sessions that I've been doing consisted basically of sort of starting to examine the relationship between music and picture by playing some different kinds of music against a still image to begin with, which is a fascinating thing to do if you've never done it. If you take a picture of someone with a kind of a slightly ambiguous expression and play different tunes against it, it looks like the person is changing. It's quite a spooky thing to do. But then each of the nonettes, or the groups of 8, 9, or 10 musicians, we split into pairs or to trios to actually improvise a score to a scene that I'd brought along, and each group had a different one. So because so much of that was sort of in the moment and a lovely way of sharing together in the groups, I think what we've decided to do to be able to share some of that is, because things are recorded or videoed inevitably on Zoom, then I think we're going to cut together some of the highlights and make a little highlights video so that you can get a little bit of a flavour of what was happening in the afternoons.
So what I suggest we're going to do is exactly what you've said. If we're featuring Mark Hodgson's group, Kathy Dyson's, Byron Wallens and Ralph Wilds on the 1st of October, then we'll have the montage from those 4 groups. And then on the 8th of October, when we're celebrating the work that Jason Yard, Roland Sutherland, Sam Watts and Alison Corley's ensembles have done, then we'll have another little montage there as well. And I'm thinking a similar thing for what I was doing, going around doing the session work, just to see, you know, just a little snapshot, because I'm sure that's been the biggest frustration, is not having that ease with which to share to an audience. 2 people that have been working with us as well, Michael, that are really dear friends of both of ours. I'm going to invite them to join us to talk about how they've been recording some of the repertoire. So I'd like to welcome to the stage, please, Olga Fitzroy. Hi, Olga.
Hi.
And Jake Wilson. Hello, Jake.
Hello.
And so how's it been for you both? You've been working with, I actually gave you half of the groups each so that you had the opportunity to work twice with each. And the brief was to record some of the repertoire that they were playing. And Jake, I'd like to go straight to the nub of the issue. You wrote a beautiful little paragraph for us to put in an email to everybody, which is that while we tested a lot of the software that we were going to use, we realized that despite all of that testing, and many times when that testing things worked really smoothly, there were all sorts of gremlins in the system. And if you had one little mismatch in a group, then obviously it impacted on the whole group. So because I don't want to spend every session talking about, I'd like you to get to the nub of what happened for us all so we can share that with everybody.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's a Julius Caesar quote that I'm going to butcher, but the idea that no battle plan survives first contact with the enemy comes to mind. And that everything is great in theory, and then when the rubber hits the road, full of metaphors today, when the rubber hits the road, sometimes these unforeseen things can happen, and sometimes you just don't know how to fix them. So we've been having a few of those moments, but overall, the amazing thing has been trying to problem solve and work around them directly with the students. So all they have, their portal is their computer, and they don't have us looking over their shoulders to help. We're having to guide them in. So they've been amazing at getting themselves up and running. And the amount of recording that's gone on this week has been quite staggering now that we're at the end of the week, looking at an entirely different picture from the beginning of the week. And I think it's been really enlightening for a lot of kids.
There's been a real shift in a development in their own relationship with the technology and making it bespoke and unique, each person offering a different way around the problem solving because of the gear that they've got and what they prefer to use, whether it's GarageBand or Jamulus and so on. Olga, how has it been? I think you've seen quite a few people, both of you seen quite a few people sort of stepping into the role of producer within the group as well and wanting to take that on. Might you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, absolutely. So I think on a few of the groups, there's been people with various different bits of tech and various kind of bits that they're interested in. And it's been really good watching kind of people use the resources that they've got to help the rest of the group. So there's one group where at the beginning, perhaps we were all struggling to get on to BandLab. And then on my second session, I was presented with a whole multi-track. Everyone had done their recording and it was all brilliant. And one of the students had sort of engineered it and coached the other students through it. And, it was fantastic to see. So definitely it was sort of each of the groups had their different strengths and everyone kind of worked together using the bits of gear that they had or the experience and knowledge that they had to actually co-produce a recording. It's fantastic.
So you actually made some really good points yesterday during our conversation about this skill set probably being something that all musicians will really want to sort of upskill themselves, because especially in the current climate. I wondered if you might share a bit of that with everybody.
Yeah, absolutely. So home recording or remote recording, where a musician does a session from their own home and then sends the files back to the client. It's been around for a little while. Obviously now everyone's got laptops, but now in lockdown, it's become almost essential. And I think even once we come out of lockdown, those musicians that have got the ability to record stuff at home, it's going to stand them in such good stead. So I think, it's obviously a bit of a strange time and a horrible time for a lot of people, but I think actually a lot of good can come out of it. People can have the tools to keep on working like that and have something to offer clients. And I think if we can take that away and get really good at home recording, then it'll stand us in good stead for the future.
Brilliant. So Jake, what we're going to do, obviously after the holiday, we're going to sort of just speak to both of you and get all the files together of everything we've recorded. But I think it's safe to say we've got enough for a little festival to share with everybody, a snapshot of each band. So might you share with everybody how we're going to go about doing that?
I'm sorry, I can't remember exactly what we'd
Basically,
agreed.
I think with each band, we're going to make sure that they've got 1 or 2 tracks which they've been working with you both. So, and then we've got that little list of who's being featured when. So myself and Nick, when we get back from our holiday, we'll touch base with all the groups and then we'll bring it to make a little festival. So that's why everyone that's watching, we can't share anything today, because I think both Olga and Jake will agree there's just a little bit of finessing to do, not masses of work, but just we're not quite ready to go, here's the complete track. Is that the case, Olga?
I think probably everything's about 90% done. I think probably a couple of people maybe want to put their solos on again, do a few little tweaks. And again, just bringing, because we're all working remotely, bringing files in from everybody that's been home recording, just putting it all together. But I think we're really close, so we'll have some great stuff to play you.
Brilliant. Well, I can't wait for that. Michael, might rejoin us because we're going to say a fond farewell to the three of you. I'm very much looking forward to the 1st of October and the 8th of October. And I really want to thank the three of you. I know if everybody that's watching can imagine what 63 plus 15, the rapturous applause if we were all in the room together.
We can simulate it with a bit of delay. Fine.
Thank you so much. And we already have spoken about projects that we want to do in the future. And so we'll be reconnecting in September. But for now, please can I thank Michael Price.
Thank you very much. Thank
Olga
you.
Fitzroy and Jake Wilson. Thank you so much, everybody.
Thank you. That's very kind. Thank you. Cheers.
So what we're going to do now is we're actually going to bring each of the groups on. We've got 8 groups. We're going to invite each of them to come and have a chat with us. Just a snapshot, just to give you a soupçon of the actual personality of each combo. That's the thing that's amazed me the most about working this week. We still, even though we're online, we've still resulted with 8 combos who've got very different personalities, which is what normally happens when we're working together live. And you see that in a live performance at the end of summer school concert. And then different strategies and ways of doing things and sharing things and playfulness and inventiveness. So without further ado, I'd like to first of all welcome to the stage Mark Hodgson and his students. Mark, might you come and join us, please?
Hi there, everyone.
Hi,
Nice to see you, Izzy.
Might you introduce who your band are? Who's with us?
Of course. So we have Greg, we have Joe, Greg on piano, Joe on guitar, Matt on trombone, Zach on tenor saxophone, Clara on trumpet, Dave on drums, and Guy on bass. And also Jack, last but not least, Jack on alto saxophone, but not Lewis, strangely, who's tried to join our band. I know he's been coveting our band, but not yet, Lewis. You'll have to...
Lewis, you maybe want to go on hide video? It's a different band for the moment. Thank you very much. I like his style, muscling in there.
I think that's definitely
He's
his
going to go far,
style.
that young man.
Yeah.
So everybody, give everybody a big wave from the, and come bring yourselves onto microphone as well. But give yourselves a big wave to everybody. Really great to see you. Make sure that you're unmuted. And Mark, I'm going to hand over to you to say, what do you feel that the main highlights have been, especially artistically? You know, I think we've talked about technology till we're blue in the face, and we've you know, like George and the Dragon, we've won and we've slain the dragon, so we know all of that. But let's put all of that aside, and as an ensemble, please tell us a little bit about it, and maybe we could invite different members of the band to sort of comment on some of the things that you'd like to share.
Yeah, of course. Well, I think the only reason I would mention technology at this stage is to say how wonderfully people responded to what was a difficult situation, undoubtedly. And as Julius Caesar said, experience is a teacher of all things. So we got there eventually, and these people, you know, these wonderful musicians I've been working with, basically nurtured me through it. I mean, I was struggling the most, I think, with it. We got to the point once when I said, I've discovered this thing. You can put a virtual thumbs up. And I thought this was fantastic. If you want to speak to me, put a virtual. And someone said, "Oh, that's very year 7." You know, we don't do that.
So we set them with the task of learning a certain amount of repertoire. And do you feel that with the ambition of getting together in next term, where we will meet in person and play? So do you feel that everything has more or less been covered? I mean, obviously there'll be tweaking when we meet, but how's it all looking for when we all get back together again?
Fantastic. It's looking really good. And all the musicians have been incredibly resourceful. We had to work out ways of doing it and rehearsing the tunes and piecing them together, but everyone inputted really strongly, and it was a real cooperative. And I think we've achieved everything we wanted to, you know, and
Fantastic.
more really, given what we were faced with at the beginning of the week. So that's testament to these musicians' capabilities.
So Clara, are you all set for the downbeat, the counting and the downbeat? Obviously there'll be a rehearsal situation and then a live stream, but I should imagine now, having done all of the work that you've done, that you're very excited about getting together as a band and playing live.
Yeah, I can't wait, because I feel like we know most of the tunes like quite well, like much better than before. And yeah, I can't wait until we actually get to play together.
And you yourself, I'm sure, feel that you've made great progress and that you're ready for it now. You've got inside the music, and like you say, as a band member as well as a band, that you're kind of prepped and good to go.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
And Zach, I'm wondering, one of the things I've noticed, and I'm sure Clara will agree, that within the band situation, even though none of us have been in the same room, there is a sense of having got to know everybody, and there is a sense of actually developing friendships. Might you say something about how you feel about that, Zach?
Yeah, I mean, it's been great getting to know everyone. I mean, it's obviously not the same because we're not meeting people in real life, but it's been really fun, and I can't wait to get together and actually hear people not playing like half a second behind where they would usually be playing.
So Matt, what was it like, especially hearing each other play for the first time and starting to get to know each other musically?
Yeah, it's been great. I feel like I've connected with a kind of cohort of musicians who, without this, I wouldn't have met necessarily, and definitely people I'm hopefully going to play with in the future, not just through NYJC, you know. So I think it's been very worthwhile.
And Joe, how do you feel about the fact you've been working with Mark Hodgson?
Been brilliant, very good. Yeah. No, the whole thing's been great. I think, yeah, handled really well. Really handled, you know, in the face of adversity, handled really creatively the approach to teaching. You know, it's such a different thing, but yeah, it's been great. It's been really good. It's been such a, you know, a worthwhile experience. Yeah, learned a lot from it and developed.
I'm sure, Jack, you feel that, you know, that depth of insight and, you know, the profound depth of insight that Mark is bringing to the music is still very attainable, even though we're online.
Yeah, it's you know, the amount of sort of the in-depth of the analysis that we do on the charts and how hard we work at them, and it's all brought to the table very clearly, and we get through it all with clarity, and eventually we're all on top of the charts and stuff. And yeah, it's brilliant.
Brilliant. And Guy, what do you think you'll have to offer for the festival? How many pieces do you think we'll have ready based on where we are at the moment?
I think we'll have an unlimited amount. Our groups, yeah, Mark's helped us.
Brilliant.
However long we have, yeah.
I'm sorry to cut you short, everybody, because I want to make sure that we don't overrun. And I'm really heartbroken that we're having to we're not able to invite everybody to say something. But from your faces, you're speaking volumes. I can tell that you've had an amazing time and that you're very much looking forward to meeting in person, as well as celebrating the music you've done so far in October as well. So I know Nick will join me as well, and so will Michael, in a big little round of applause to say bravo, everybody, and Mark as well. Thank you so much. You've done brilliantly. So let's look forward to seeing you again in October. Bring yourselves, take yourselves off mute and give yourself a big round of applause.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks to you, Izzy.
Oh, you're welcome.
And
It's
the whole team,
pleasure.
Nick and Claire, for us, everyone. Thank you very much.
Thanks,
All right,
Mark,
my
as well.
darlings, we're going to be giving the big thank yous to everybody later on, but I really appreciate it and look forward to seeing you again. So don't go away. Make sure you tune in to watch the other groups as well, but take care, everybody, and the best of luck. Have a great time. See you soon. So I think the next person that we're going to invite and to talk to their group, if I'm not mistaken, Nick, is Jason Yard. Hello, Jason.
Yeah, sorry.
How you doing, lovey? Nice to see you. And I just want to check on behalf of everybody, because during the middle of the week, I mean, it ended up not being super serious, but a difficult time. Your wife had a little prang in the car and got whiplash. How's she doing?
She's good. She's good. They're on their way home. I just come off the phone from actually the kids. It was a bit scary because poor Alexa handled it very well. I was in the middle of her saxophone lesson when I was like, I've had a crash. Call me now. I was like, oh dear. So, but we made up the time today, thankfully. At least I could do is give her another 15 minutes.
Brilliant. Well, do give her and your two children as well, our love. And talking of children, you've inherited a combo that I'm sure will follow you around for life now. Might you introduce who our young musicians are that we've been working with?
Sure. Well, I've had the pleasure this week of working with. We've had a triple threat trumpet section of Christy Smith, Isaac Holt, and Toby Young. My man Max Flores on alto, Joe Evans on trombone, Ben Goodman and Sydney Moon on keys, Ursula Harrison on bass and guitar and all other things. I think you let her have a go on, she'll play. And the double trouble of Joe Bainbridge and Louis Di Pedro on drums.
Might you all come and join us to the stage? I know that Sydney isn't able to join us today, but I think everybody else is here. Might you come on onto video and unmute yourselves and let's have a little bit of a chat. So, Jason, I'm wondering if you might steer with the group, maybe even offer to, volunteer some of the young musicians to sort of fill us in as well. But what was the target you wanted to achieve, and maybe some of the insights into how that evolved during the week, maybe then involving some of the youngsters to share the story. So over to you, Jason.
Yeah, well, it's good. Bearing in mind we're live on, we're live in public now, people. So, yeah, I guess we set out with, I can say we set out with 5 very different tunes, and we went through a process to narrow that down when we had to work towards recording. But I think everyone was very good-natured and good-humored about getting that together. So. I would like to actually, I know we heard from Ursula and Ben yesterday, so I'm kind of thinking maybe we should look at Louis, if you have anything to add, or Joe. Quick before the finger decides.
How did you feel with, Louis, learning the repertoire particularly, and then meeting with Jason, and obviously the same things as Mark, that sort of the profound insight into the music and really getting deep inside it. How did that feel, having learnt the repertoire? You put the time in and you learnt the tunes, but then taking it the next step.
Yeah, I thought it was like a really good experience. The songs, they're all like really different songs, so you've got to like approach them differently, I guess. And it's like being online is a lot different to like playing live. Obviously, you've got to like record it separately, and if you do something that's not exactly, doesn't sound that right, you don't know until you hear it in the whole piece, and then you've got to go back and record it again. So it's like, yeah, but it's interesting and it's really fun.
So Christy, how easy was it to let go of that, not going back repeatedly to re-record, but to try and stay in the moment?
It's very hard to do that, but like Jason was saying, on the course, you just have to, when you're recording it, you just have to imagine that you're playing it with other people, which can be hard. But once how we'd do it is one person would lay down like a backing track, usually keys or bass, and then we'd record over that, so we had something to go off and we had something to kind of bounce off musically. But so it did make it easier to kind of close your eyes and imagine that you are playing in a room with them. But yeah, it's difficult.
And Toby, what was it like meeting other musicians and hearing them for the first time? Because I'm sure that was interesting, hearing the personalities gradually unfold.
Yeah, it was strange, but then it felt normal, and you kind of got to know everyone really quickly and hear everyone play, and it was really good. Yeah. And
Joe, we also had one-to-one lessons as well, wasn't just the combos. So how was that, having a one-to-one lesson online?
Well, I had mine before the week, but nevertheless, it was really great. With Jeremy Price, obviously such a big trombone player for me. It's really brilliant to have a lesson and consult with him and see what he thinks about my playing and how I can use it, and then use it to become better myself. So yeah, really good.
Brilliant. And Isaac, how were your sectionals? Because on a Tuesday afternoon, everybody went off to have sectionals as well. How was that?
No, yeah, it was really great. So I'm a trumpet player, obviously. So I had Byron Wallen, and he's absolutely hilarious, and he's a fantastic player. So it was really great to have the afternoon with him, and he's just teaching us everything he knows.
There were some real deep Zen moments. We'll wait till Byron joins us to talk about those again, but just the sort of sound production. And the thing that I love that Byron keeps repeating and reminding us about is there's a difference between practicing and being match fit. And, we need to start thinking about how we maintain that energy so that when we can be gigging out there, that we've got that energy. So do you feel match fit? Who's not spoken yet?
Absolutely.
Help me, Jason, nominate somebody.
She's right in the middle of my screen, actually. No, I think I would love to hear what Ursula has to say.
Yeah. How are you feeling match fit?
Yeah, I think we're all feeling a little bit tired at the end of the week. I mean, it's intense, but yeah, in terms of getting the repertoire together and everything, I think, yeah, and it's kind of weird. I feel like we have a group dynamic, even though we haven't played together. So yeah, I think if we do, then we'll be ready.
Fantastic. Well, Louis, what's going to be ready for us for the when we do the October Festival? What do you think you've recorded already as a group that we'll be sharing?
Three amazing pieces, hopefully.
Woohoo! Well, Jason, I think I'd like to ask you to wrap it up with a big bit of headlines. What's been one of the things that you think, wow, that was a great experience of the summer school?
I tell you what, from the first moment we recorded, and to be honest, it's funny because I think Christy was talking about and Toby were talking about having a backing track, but actually the first thing we recorded on the beginning of one of the tunes is literally 30 seconds of improv with no time and no space. And I just said to them, look, it was a little bit of a test. And I just said, look, just imagine you're in the room. There's nothing else. Just listen to the silence, if you will. And I'm sure it will work out, you know, and there's questions about this, that, and that. Anyway, and I got all the parts back, just put it up, and it was magical, you know. And from that moment, I thought, okay, this can work. It's going to be okay. You know,
so we're very excited about having the summer school in Repton next year, but we also feel that if we do need to stay online, we've already learned a lot and we're going to develop things further. So for now, can I thank Jason and his combo, and please could you come on mic and give yourselves a massive round of applause. Well done, everybody. I'm really looking forward to hearing your music. Very much. So I think the next tutor that we're going to invite to join me is, I'm trying to remember the order of things, and I'm pretty sure that it's Kathy Dyson. Dr. Kathy Dyson. Hello, my love, how are you doing?
I'm fine, how are you?
So would you like to introduce to us the members of your band?
Yeah, well, we had Ferg Kilsby on trumpet and Ruben Emson on trumpet, great trumpet players. We have Flo Redmonds, and she's on tenor, and she's also playing the flute a bit today, which is lovely. Ishmael Asgard on trombone, John Green on guitar, Lewis James on piano, Ollie Fitzgerald on bass, and Oscar Williams on the drums.
Brilliant, lovely to see you all. Give us all a wave. Nice to see it, and well done for, again, as with the other combos, getting the pieces together in time for the summer school and then really working well together as a group. I'm sure, Ferg, that you feel that there is a group identity even though you haven't been in the same room as each other.
Yeah, it's good. Kind of got to know each other quite well through the week, I guess. Kind of awkward at the start, just through a screen, but you kind of get to build up group identity, I guess. Yeah.
So Ishmael, how do you overcome that shyness being on Zoom and actually becoming more of a group and developing friendships, musical friendships as well as social friendships?
Well, maybe it takes just a few people to maybe like take leadership and just like maybe, or if you work in smaller groups, maybe then that'll help like create bonds with different people. And then you've just got to work with what you've got really as well. Just like accept that you're not all together and just understand that maybe you can't, like it won't be the same, and just like crack on with it in a way.
And also, Flo, you know, the same thing as when I was talking earlier to Mark and Jason, that what you've inherited with the group is that great, profound understanding of the music from the person that was teaching you, Kathy Dyson. So how have you felt about your relationship with the music that you came prepared and now how it's developed during the week? This is for Flo.
Sorry. Yeah. It's quite interesting because obviously, similar to every other music school, when you prepare all the music by yourself, just listening to the original recordings, it's quite a separate experience. You sort of have this very set idea of the music and you're sort of playing along to it. Whereas when you bring that into this situation where you've got a combo and actually start to dissect it and learn how to play it with other people, with like the rhythm section, with the horn lines, it just sort of, it brings the music more alive, I feel.
And so for the rhythm section players, I can't remember who the drummer is and the drummer's name's not appering. Might you remind me?
It's Oscar Williams.
That's it, Oscar. It's because I've got all these little tiny postage stamps.
Yeah, me too.
Oscar, lovely. Might you tell us a bit about the actual rhythm section workshops that we had on the Tuesday where the rhythm sections came together? What kind of things were you looking at?
Well, in both of the groups, because we were in like two, so we started with Mark Hodgson and then we went to Kathy Dyson and Sam Watts. and in both of the groups we actually did some deep listening, which was really good, where we sort of where we had to like note down things that we heard and talk about them, and it was just nice to talk about music again with other people. Yeah.
That's the other thing, isn't it, Ruben? The fact that a lot of people haven't had other people their age to talk to, and that sort of disconnection, sort of still staying connected with the music, but not having that sharing. So is that something that you've very much enjoyed about the week?
Yeah, I mean, I think, yeah, the sharing of music, because I think I've learned a lot from like everyone else playing stuff, and when we go into our different breakout rooms, talking about how to play, I get new ideas that I'll definitely use in the future. And yeah, I thought that was really helpful. I'll probably also play with those players again with everyone we've met. So.
Well, one of the questions that was asked today, which came to me via Nick, was a lot of you I know have been saying, how do we keep in touch with everybody? And we will be writing to everybody just to make sure that we get permission to forward emails, but that's something that's definitely going to be facilitated, but not just so that you can keep in touch independently, but we're very much hoping that we can work together with you again during the academic year. So as we've said, this isn't just for 1 week, that we definitely want to see it as a programme that we continue into the academic year. I'm wondering, John, what do you think you will have ready as a group for the Oktoberfest?
So we've been working mainly throughout the week on this one tune called The Spin, which is amazing, really good guitarist. We mainly worked on that one for the week, but we've also been doing a Chris Potter tune and a Chick Corea tune.
Right.
So yeah, they should all be ready.
Brilliant. And obviously when we say that you've been focusing on those, we mean in the context of recording. So there were other pieces from the programme. How many pieces did you present to them, Catherine, when they... I keep
we had five at the beginning.
Kathy.
Yeah, I know, it's because I've got Catherine down. Yeah, we had 5 at the beginning, but at the beginning I said, what would you like to really focus on? And they said The Spin, and this is one of the best things about it, actually. And we wanted to actually do it the same tempo as Jonathan Kreisberg, which is 238. And to do it all at that tempo. So there was a lot of effort going into actually do that and to record it and so forth. So we decided we would focus on that. But we were then working on Green Pastures by Chris Potter and actually trying to get some of those chords down, which are very, as different bass lines, different top lines, different all sorts of things. So we've done a lot of intense, in transcribing, listening. We've been taking down Chris Potter's solo. We've been doing all sorts. So it's been a lot of focus, on kind of, a couple of pieces, but yeah.
Brilliant. Well, I'll drop Chris a line and let him know that, because, I know that he's very interested in what everybody's doing, and I got to know him through Dave Holland. So it'd be really nice to make that connection, the musicians, for them to know that we're studying their work and really interested in what they're doing. So for now, everybody, I'm going to say, first of all, Kathy as well, because we've worked together since the very first summer school in 2007. So I'm sorry that you've ended up online 13 years later, but I really appreciate your input, and I really hope that you will continue to work with NYJC, because you're such a key member of the team from the get-go, and very much want to wish you all a really good summer, and looking forward to seeing you again in October. So for now, Kathy Dyson's group, well done. Give us all a bit of put yourselves on mic and give yourselves a big round of applause. Well done. And we can't wait to see you in person. Have a really good time. See you soon. So I think the next person, if I'm not mistaken, Nick, is Roland Sutherland. Roland, might you come to the stage? Are you there, Roland? You're moving around a lot, but
I'm clicking on things, but nothing's happening.
Might you help, Nick? Is there any way we could get Roland to come and join us?
My camera doesn't want to come on, I'm afraid.
Oh, what a shame.
It's a bit camera shy.
Oh, there you go. Hello.
It finally came up, is it? It hasn't cracked, has it?
Well, we've been talking a lot about different elements of the actual the community, jazz community, how we play the music, and one of the things that's really come out is that sense of family. And I don't know if the young musicians we've been working with, but you are a really instrumental and core member of my musical family. A lot of my projects that I've done, I've invited you to be part of, I remember my parents are actually watching now. I know they are, and they love Roland deeply. And what my father once said to me, "What are you going to do if Roland isn't free to do one of your projects?" And it's a really good question. What am I going to do? Because you are my number one go-to person. So,
Too
Roland, please,
kind.
why don't you tell us about your band and who's joining us?
Oh, there's some wonderful players in the band. There's Phoebe Holmes Simeon, and she's the vocalist. Actually, I've never said the surnames before, so please forgive me, my friends, if I mispronounce anything. Alexa Nava, and she's on alto sax. Holly Shearsmith, alto sax. Harry Bennett on tenor sax. Lucia Biascas Rue on trombone. Oscar Lyons is on piano. And Tom Sheen on bass. And Nat Greenwood on drums. And we had a visit from Billy Halsey on drums.
Oh, great. So come and join us, everybody. Brilliant. Lovely to see you. Give us a wave. Fantastic. Well, and we've worked together as well doing the session side of things, which is great. And so we've had a chance to play, all the groups have had a chance to play with all of them, which has been really magical because it means I've had an hour and 20 minutes with everybody to really get inside the music. So I feel that I really have got to know 63 really gifted, talented, enthusiastic, creative, vital and vibrant young musicians. So Lucia, we haven't seen each other for a little while. You used to join us at King's Place and we've had a little bit of a break. So how does it feel coming back, reconnecting with us, and we're doing it online? How's it been? If you all want to bring yourselves off mute as well so that we don't spend time, that'd be great. So Lucia, how's it been?
It's like so lovely to be back. Like it's like such an amazing experience, but it's really strange to be online. But hopefully, it's going to be really exciting when we actually meet.
Definitely. And one of the things that's been amazing is not only since I've met people have I seen how much they've progressed, but within the week itself, I've seen how much people have progressed. So Oscar, how do you feel what's been the big sort of headline for how you feel you progressed during the week? What do you feel you're taking away?
Well, I think definitely I'm more social after all of this. I would usually kind of be a little bit nervous coming into like talking with people and stuff, but now I'm definitely trying to reach out to new people. Yeah.
Right, that's brilliant. And Holly, what's it been like sort of presenting your own ideas to people that you've never met before? And I'm sure that evolved as the week progressed, but how's it been sharing your ideas?
I think it was a really great experience, and everyone was really like welcoming and open to new ideas and just trying anything that anyone sort of wanted to do. So I think it was a really great opportunity. Yeah.
Fantastic. Nat, what's the big headline for you from the week that you will remember the most, do you think?
I think it was the same as Oscar, like meeting new people, connecting with new people, that kind of thing.
It's a really important part, and those of you that are watching that aren't familiar with our work, whenever we have an evaluation form and we ask people what are the 5 top things, we don't ever preempt it. It's just what are the 5 top things that you most enjoy about what happened during the week. Meeting young musicians, they're at the same age as them, who have got the same passion and the same interest, is at the top of the list. It's the most important thing. So I'm wondering, Phoebe, how easy is it for you locally to meet people who have got the same level of interest in the music?
Well, there's some like jazz hubs around me, but I haven't really had the chance to, join them. So it's just really nice again to just meet people like me who love jazz, and it's just like a really So thank you so much for the experience.
Oh, you're very welcome. It's been a real pleasure. And Tom, I'm thinking that you probably think there is a family there in that group, and that you've now got 8 or 9 new friends. I can't remember whether you've got a nonet or a dectet, Roland. Is it 10 or is it 9?
It was 9.
9, brilliant. So yeah, Tom, do you feel that you've got 8 sort of kindred spirits that you're very much looking forward to meeting and playing with?
Yeah, most definitely. I remember, I think Dave, our facilitator, said it earlier in the week. It's like he still plays with people that he's met on NYJC, and I'm sure that will happen with us. So.
It definitely will. Yeah, and that's really true. You see a lot of the young musicians going through onto conservatoire. 90% of the young musicians normally go to conservatoire. The 10% that don't tend to go and do non-music as their undergraduate and then go on to do jazz as postgraduate. As one person once said to me, when explaining why he was going to do maths, BMUS, and then a jazz postgraduate, I can carry on my music while I'm studying maths, but I can't carry on my maths while I'm studying my music. So, Harry, I'm just wondering, what are we expecting for October? What are we going to hear at the festival?
Oh, we're going to hear some really funky tunes. Some really great tunes arranged greatly. You know. It's going to be a good one, I'm telling you.
How many have we got under our belt so far?
Well, under our belt, we've got two. Just finalising the recordings. Got another, and then we've got two or three others which we've been working on recently, which we haven't had a chance to record yet.
But do you think you might carry on after the week?
We might do, yeah. I think we might make some kind of group chat through Nick, and so we can get some of the other ones down. And there's some really great tunes arranged nicely.
Well, that would be great, and I'm really looking forward to hearing them. I haven't heard any of it yet, so very much looking forward to in September. Finally, Roland, because you very kindly stepped in. Originally, Tina Lyle was due to teach the group, and she'd actually chosen the repertoire, and then unfortunately, Tina was taken very seriously ill, and we're wishing her all the best for a speedy recovery. I've had a couple of emails from her, very short and sweet, because she's not feeling well, but I think she is on the road to recovery. So, Roland, I know from all of us, we want to say a massive thank you. Might you please join us, your combo, if you put yourselves back on microphone. Can we give Roland a big round of applause and of appreciation? And Roland, can you also applaud? Hello, everybody.
Glenn. Absolutely fantastic. Real joy. Great. Thank you so much.
Brilliant. So I think the next person we're going to invite up is Byron Wallen, if I'm not mistaken. Is that right, Byron? Are you there? Have I got the right list? Am I on the right list? I've got the thumbs up there. Is Byron there? Can't see him.
It should be Byron. I'm not sure whether Byron is actually here, so maybe just...
Okay, do we have Byron's group? Let's get Byron's group up so we can move things on. That'd be wonderful. Hello, everybody. If you could all come on camera and wave, put yourselves, so unmute yourselves. That'd be great. We had a fantastic afternoon today. It was really lovely working with all of you and looking at the repertoire together. I suddenly thought, you know what, all my afternoons are blurring into one another. So I feel like I've spent every afternoon with all of you having a fantastic time. What we did with all the groups was actually putting everybody in a session situation. Luke, might you explain what we did when I was working with you all?
Yeah. So Izzy came to us with a couple of her own compositions. And I can't remember if they were all your compositions. One of them might not have been. Yeah, they were. And they were compositions for big band and orchestra, or like orchestra and jazz soloists rather. And Byron's just joined us. And so we so you gave us the sheet music for parts of it. And one of the pieces that we did was for a soloist over the orchestra, and so we would improvise over the chords being played by the orchestra, and it was very free and kind of very colourful. And then the other one was a 6/8 Afro-Cuban groove with some improvisation and some written parts over the top of that.
And the purpose of it was the same as when I go around every summer, is to put everybody in the situation of you are the featured soloists, you are the session musicians. So it's really to emulate that from zero to complete within the space of that period of time. So in a way, Byron, totally the opposite to what they've been doing with yourself, because they were given a good month to prepare. And thank you so much for all the repertoire that you put together. Might you, I know you've touched on it, but might you tell us a little bit about the programme and any sort of headlines that you might want to invite your group to talk about from the week?
Yeah, sorry. Firstly, apologise. I was watching it on my on my phone, and I must have been delayed a little while. I didn't want to just gate crash the party. So just saying that I was really knocked out by this group. You know, I was really coming, as I said to the guys, you know, all the experiences that I've had online have been, you know, it's great to be doing this stuff and to be a musician. So it'd be great to be engaging in music, but you know, there's always been that kind of aftertaste of, you know, slightly being let down and not really having that connection. Whereas, I mean, I can genuinely say that, you know, meeting these guys and really having the opportunity to work on music is something that I'm gonna, you know, this is really a beginning of a new relationship and family, you know, because they all came to the table not only knowing all the chords and their parts, they actually had researched around the chords, so they around the tune, so they were actually telling me about versions that they'd heard and aspects of it that they wanted to use.
Wow.
And I was really knocked out, Izzy, really.
So Otto, we've worked together in the past where you were on the short course, which was the feeder program, with the aspiration to then get onto the summer school. So how did it feel when, having got onto this year's summer school, you were kind of robbed slightly of that opportunity to meet in person? Was it a huge disappointment, or do you feel that you've overcome the disappointment with the work that you've done? I'm sure there was disappointment at some point of the journey.
Well, I wouldn't say there was really any disappointment involved, really, because we're all in this situation. So we're no different to each other. We're all in this together, and so we're just experiencing our different version of what other people may have experienced on other summer schools. And I think we would have learned different things that other people in other years maybe wouldn't have, because we have a whole different, you know, look on it. So.
Wow. That's really amazing, and I think that definitely deserves a round of applause. And I think you're right, definitely.
Thank you.
Bravo, Otto! You put it beautifully.
Stop it.
£5 in the post. Yeah. And when did you move over to the UK?
So I moved over here when I was 3 years old. I used to live in New York, and both my parents had jobs here, so I moved here with them.
And how do you feel the UK scene compares to especially in New York? There's a burgeoning scene there. So how and your own place within both of them? Are you excited about? Do you want to specialize in one, both, neither, all of them?
Yeah, well, in fact, I think like I always go back to the States, to New Jersey and New York for vacation, and go to jazz there. And yeah, getting that kind of cultural differentiation between New York jazz and jazz in London, not that it's good or bad in any way, shape, or form, but it's just good to have a broad palette.
So how's it been being part of the National Youth Jazz Collective?
It's been really fun. It's been really fun. One of my favorite things is just getting to know everybody, because obviously in lockdown it's kind of hard to see people and to see musicians and to play with people, and this has provided it. So thank you.
Will, how's it been for you before coming on to the summer school, for having the opportunity to stay connected with other young musicians?
Well, it was very kind of if I'd wanted to, and I mean I did want to, if I'd really wanted to kind of connect and play with everybody, or some people, then I'd have to have done a lot of it myself. But I think it's really nice that we've got a kind of timetable that we can like rely on being able to meet with 9 other people.
And learning from each other is a really important thing that's come out of a lot of the conversation. But also, Theo, I should imagine that you've been blown away with the depth and the intensity of the understanding of the music that you've been getting from Byron. What sort of 2 headlines maybe of what you've got out of the combo sessions?
I've got many things. I don't think I can quite narrow it down to 2. I think it's amazing having Byron as our tutor, because he sort of has this wonderful knowledge of all the music, and somehow he knows every single person who wrote it and every other person who ever did a cover of it. And so it's so wonderful to hear sort of how he thinks it should be done, or sort of his ideas on the music, because he's such a trusted, he's such a brilliant opinion on it, because he knows all these wonderful people. So I think having this amazing sort of having this sort of figure to tell us how he thinks the music should go is just really wonderful, because it kind of shows us these new opinions, essentially, if any of that made sense, which probably did.
But then I should imagine after that you're open to make your own decisions about which you use and which you don't, and even it's a way of encouraging you to bring in your own ideas as well.
Yeah. Yeah, it really does. It does open up this whole new, give you a brand new idea on the song and the piece, and yeah.
Brilliant. Well, there are 3 people here that have worked with us before, and there are several young musicians who've never worked with us before. But I really feel there's no difference. Everybody's family, like Byron was talking about earlier on, and Julian Joseph was talking about earlier on. So we're really looking forward to the combo meeting again and actually playing in person, as well as the festival. So Max, might you tell us what we've got lined up for us in October? What will we be hearing? Can't hear you. Hello, Max.
Hello.
Hello. So what are we going to be hearing in October?
We've got a big variety of tunes set up, ready to go. From lots of different cultures and countries around the world. We're just very excited for it. We got some more classic jazz tunes such as Dear Old Stockholm, which is one we've been working on lots over the week, and more interesting and more different ones such as Sentimenit, which is definitely more of a calypso style, and we got to explore some of the differences that come with that kind of music.
So the brief was the relationship between jazz and folk, and as we said, we didn't want everybody to suddenly start playing hornpipes or Morris dancing. It was definitely that where the music together has grown together. So sort of examples for people that are watching are things like, Jan Garbarek and how he's included folk, or June Tabor, or the way that Van Morrison have sort of brought folk and blues together over in Ireland. So Bertie, the whole programme recorded. How many of the 5 tunes do you think we'll be hearing in October? Oh, can't hear you, Bertie.
Is that better?
Yeah.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, beautifully.
Yeah. Okay. I think we're definitely going to be doing 2, possibly 3 of the tunes. One of them, well, 2 of them we brushed on a bit, but I think at the beginning we decided on 3 main tunes that we all had an interest in learning and exploring. So I think those will be the sort of main ones we'll be doing.
Well, I'm really looking forward to hearing them. I'm looking forward to hearing them in October, and then I'm looking forward to seeing everybody not long after that, where we can meet in person and play and live stream as well. So for now, can I please thank Byron Wallen and his group? Thanks, everybody. Bring yourself onto microphone and give yourselves a big round of applause.
Thank you, Byron.
Thank you,
Byron. Everybody, thank you, and everyone.
Thanks very much.
Arthur.
He'll be back. Don't worry, you'll see him again. Thank you so much, Byron.
Thank you so much, Izzy. It's been fantastic.
And it's the first time we've worked together at the summer school, and I really hope you'll be back, because I really feel that you're a core member of the team, and it's been a real pleasure working with you. I'm really very grateful to everything you've done.
I've loved it, and I think what we've done here, we plant seeds that we're going to be seeing sprouting, and for a long time to come. Beautiful.
Thank you, lovely. I'm glad to hear that. Brilliant. Fantastic. So we've actually, the next person we're going to welcome to the stage is somebody who was actually on the very first NYJ summer school, NYJC summer school in 2007, went on to study at Leeds and then went on to a postgraduate, worked a lot with Mark Donelon, who's another of our tutors and a dear colleague, and now is definitely taking the scene by storm. So I'd like to welcome to the stage, please, Sam Watts. Hi Sam, how you doing?
Hiya, how you doing? I'm good, thanks. Yeah.
Great to see you, and it's been
Likewise.
So wonderful to see the way things have developed. I mean, one of the things when you start something off like the summer school in 2007, you have aspirations of how you'd like to see it, but it's down to the individuals, and you have really taken the music and made it your own. And might you talk to us just very briefly about what you sort of things you've been doing since you graduated?
Yeah, sure. I mean, so I mean that was a while ago now. So I've been doing all sorts of stuff, but I play jazz, piano. I play in a few different projects with people. I live in London now, and I'm doing sort of different gigs, playing with various different bands. I play a lot of Brazilian music now as well. So I'm kind of until recently I was quite heavily involved in that scene, but obviously it's not not really rolling that much at the moment.
On pause rather than.
Yeah, exactly.
The
Yeah.
nice thing about it is that you've stayed connected with NYJC. You've helped us with the audition tours, so we need pianists to accompany the young musicians. You've also led some of the regional work and the short course as well in previous years. So how's it been working online? Do you feel that the ethos of NYJC is still alive?
It's very much alive. Yeah, it's great. I've really enjoyed doing it. I mean, for me, it's been really cool. This having gone on the course now, being on the other side of it. It's it's really nice to make that kind of circle. But yeah, I think actually someone put it really well earlier. I think it was actually what Otto said there about how there's things that we've managed to do online that probably if we'd been in the room rehearsing and getting ready for the gig, we wouldn't have. There's loads of stuff we wouldn't have covered. We might not have got to talk about a lot of the stuff that we did. So from that side, it's been really positive.
So might you introduce your band? Might you bring them to the stage? We'd love to meet
sure.
them.
So my band, attention please unmute and show your videos if you haven't already. So we had two drummers. We've had Lakshmi and Mallory, and then we've had Ben on guitar. We've had quite a big horn section. We've had Ted, Jack, Rowley, Will, and Olivia there. And we've got like sort of three saxes, trumpet and trombone, which has been really fun. I hope they're all here.
Yeah, here they are, present and correct.
Great.
We had a great session this afternoon as well. So the two groups, the earlier group and yourselves, I saw two groups every afternoon. So we were working together. Getting tongue-tied now because of talking non-stop since 8:30. So I'm not going to talk anymore. I'm going to hand over to you, Sam, and maybe might you. I was wondering actually, you might not be near to your piano.
I'm not anymore. No, sorry, I've gone in the other room. Yeah.
You did a fantastic demonstration when I came round. One of the things that I really enjoyed was going round the groups and listening to what was happening. And I came in at a very opportune moment where you were demonstrating the difference between so the bebop and the New Orleans style. And I'm wondering if you might talk about that sort of the approach to style, because I think you will have touched on that a bit in when you were doing the sectionals as well, the rhythm sectionals. So what do we mean by sort of looking at the different styles?
I mean, maybe it's best if I ask someone from my group to sort of, let's see if what I was trying to communicate to come across. So maybe Olivia, could you maybe sort of jump in here and talk about a bit what I was saying there?
Yeah, sure. We did a lot about feel this week, like because we've got a lot of diverse music. We had that New Orleans tune, that traditional Close to Walk, and we had a lot of Brazilian and Latin stuff. And so, like, in a session, Sam would put on a version of one of these tunes, and like we'd listen to the drummer and like listen to the kind of swing that they're putting on, especially in the New Orleans, the kind of half swing that they do, and getting really in depth on like the styles of these kind of music. And it wasn't just New Orleans, like Sam said, he does lots of Brazilian music, and we got really in depth on this style called Bajau. I think I've
Baião, yeah, forró, yeah, exactly.
From northeast Brazil, talking about all like the rhythmic subtleties of that kind of music, which is just so interesting because like there's not like a book about that kind of stuff. You can't really read it. You kind of have to like listen and really get it off all the recordings.
So Ted and Ben, I wondered if I might ask you, following on from Olivia, one of the things about being a horn player is it's very easy to get sucked into the which scale goes with which chord, and rhythm gets often completely discarded. So I'm wondering, how's the delving into all of this rhythmic side of the music, which is such an important part of the music. I can't stress enough the music we're playing, it's rhythmic music, it's based on groove and feel, and we all have a responsibility to that. So I'm wondering, at the end of the week now, Ted and Ben, how that might have influenced you as horn players, so saxophonist and trumpet. So Ted, maybe first.
I think a great thing about it was the way that each of the different 5 pieces we did has a different sort of rhythmic inflection to it. So you've got to get that authenticity into your solo, and it demonstrated to me that rhythm is like the most important part of this music, definitely.
And Ben, how did it feel for you? Thank you very much, Ted. The rhythmic aspect of things.
I don't play a horn. I'm a
Sorry?
Yeah, I'm a guitarist, I don't play all.
Yeah, but within the line, sort of, when you're playing a
Oh, sorry, I
line.
thought you were asking.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's helped, yeah.
In what way?
Sort of doing it more.
Are you thinking motivically more rhythmically or not? Or maybe it's more in the comping that it's influenced you?
No, certainly more in soloing and...
I can't really hear you very well.
Certainly more in soloing than comping.
So which of the rhythms have excited you the most when you've been delving with Sam?
Latin things.
That's something that you might include in your playing a bit more. Include it more in your playing, taking it forward. Brilliant. So Mallory and Lakshmi, what's it like having two drummers in a band? Because I mean, I have to say I'm a huge fan of any band that's got two drums, and particularly when Mingus had two bands, but even things like when Genesis had two drummers. When Genesis had two drummers, and Ornette Coleman and things like that. So there's many advantages and disadvantages. How was it learning from playing with each other?
Well, I found it really nice being able to bounce off ideas from each other. So if I didn't understand something, I could listen to what Mallory was doing, and then suddenly it would start to make sense a bit more. Or I think it was really nice. We just it kind of, because obviously most of the other instruments, they're all pitch based, so it's quite nice to have someone else that you can kind of play with, and that you're understanding the same thing.
Mallory, what was it like? Have you ever worked with another drummer in a band before?
I actually have. I'm quite lucky. Most of my bands I have two drummers because my younger sister is also a drummer at just the level I was at her age. So in school, we're always in the same bands, and I've always really enjoyed working with another drummer. As Lakshmi said, it's really nice to be able to listen to other people, and if you don't get it, it's such a safety barrier. It is really nice to have someone to back you up if you don't understand what's happening.
And that's part of what the music, isn't it? The way we play music, it's all about trading ideas, whether it's in sort of without actually using words, trading ideas in the moment as we play, or actually just sharing ideas of, have you ever heard this? And, how about doing it this way? So I've really enjoyed working with you both, and I've really sensed that there's that camaraderie. Roland, I'm wondering whether you feel that there is a group vibe that's evolved of friendships.
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, on the first day, we're all in a Zoom meeting together, and none of us know each other, and by the end, it's like we're all sad to see each other go. I mean, I feel like you get to know people by their impulse partly. Like when people unmute themselves, and then you actually kind of, even if you can't have like a kind of one-to-one chat because we're all in a group session, you sort of glean things from people just by how they're expressing themselves through improv.
Brilliant. So Will, what are we expecting to hear in October?
I mean, it's a group decision, really. I mean, I don't know what we're deciding, but it depends how many songs are going to be included in the repertoire. So I think we got about 5, but
recorded.
No, not recorded. No, definitely not. I mean, the recorded one is it's a Latin song called Descarga Cachao, if I'm getting that right. But no, yeah, it's a really good song. Everyone has a good feature in it, and I think that's been our main focus of the week, because we were having some like recurring recording problems, but I think in the end we got quite a solid recording of it. But no.
Did everybody use the same platform, or did you start to use different platforms? Software.
I think most of us use BandLab, but I think Lakshmi didn't use Logic for one of your.
I did momentarily, but then I scrapped it and used.
Oh, okay. And then I think someone else did Cubase, or I'm not really savvy with all this stuff, but I think most of us did BandLab.
Brilliant. So Ben, how was it being asked to do all the IT side of things? Did you enjoy getting involved in the sort of recording side of things? Ben?
Yeah, it's different. I wouldn't have had to do it.
Is it something you'd done before?
Sort of.
Yeah, so great. Well, I'm really glad that everybody's getting stuck in. It's been really lovely to talk to you all. Byron, might you come back to the... no, it's Sam. Sam, where have you gone? Disappeared.
I'm here.
Hello. Sorry.
Hello. It's right. I was just muted.
Hello, lovey. So, at the end of it all, how's it feel?
I feel sad, to be honest, that I'm not going to be doing the same thing next week with this amazing project, with these amazing band and these musicians. And I just hope that it won't be too long before we'll see each other in real life. And yeah, it's been great. I've learned a lot myself. Everyone's always had really great thoughts and ideas, made me rethink some stuff. You know, we're never finished learning all this stuff, so it's great to talk to some young people and get their, you know, their vibe on the music I'm into. For me, it's been brilliant.
And what, just to round off, I think following on from what you've said, often we get asked as jazz musicians, why are there so many good teachers as jazz musicians? And I would argue that's because we're constantly teaching each other. Even as band leaders, we're having to take on that role of communicating our musical ideas, or within a band, just as a band member. So I think it's a really fundamental part of making the music. And I'm really, really proud of working with you, Sam, and having you work with us. And I'd like to invite the young musicians to take themselves off mics. Sam, will you join me in giving them all a big round of applause? Can you bring yourselves onto the microphone?
Absolutely, yeah. Nice one, everyone. It's been really fun. Thanks for everything. Thanks as well. Nice one. Thanks for having me.
So I'm now going to welcome to the stage the next group, which is Alison Corley's group. Alison, please, would you come to the stage and join me?
Hi, Izzy.
Hello.
Hello.
Watching might not realise is we only live down the road from each other, so, so we actually have seen each other in person.
Yeah.
So we had a very pleasant supper last night with Olga and yourself, and then Katie, who's been doing some of the rhythm sectionals as well, and then Nick came down to join us. So I was thinking this morning that I might have the giggles now, seeing everybody back on Zoom, you know, but now rightful place. So how's it feel? Here we are on the last day of the course.
Oh, just sad because, like Sam said, it's been such a wonderful journey, and my kids are just lovely. They're absolutely wonderful. I've enjoyed every single minute of it. And, you know, some days you think, oh, that was so tiring, but I wish there was more. I just wanted more of it. So, yeah, it's lovely. It's been lovely.
Well, we're very much hoping to stay connected with everybody, and as we say, we're going to reconvene and come back again on the 10th of September. One nice headline is we're really lucky that we've actually got a new COO who's joining us to support our work as well, which is really lovely. And so I'm not sure if he's watching, but Stuart Burns, we're looking forward to working with you in September to moving the things forward. We feel we've got an additional offer now that we've really sort of been working online. We've come up with some really good ways of working with people online. I'm sure it'll continue to be an offer, not necessarily the primary way we make music, because just to remind everybody that the music we make, and the person that described it the best as far as I can think in our context, is our very dear friend Graham Collier, who sadly passed away about 10 years ago or so. But he had this lovely strapline, which is that jazz happens in real time once. And that was the big challenge that I wanted to keep alive. You and I play together in Interchange, so we've done a lot of live playing together. And I have to say, it's a real joy playing with you. Every time I hear you play, I love your sound, I love your lines, I love your openness. So I thought how lucky the young musicians are to have somebody with such openness and such depth of understanding of the music. So without further ado, please could you introduce your band to the stage?
Yeah, certainly. So I've got Kira on flute, lovely fiery flautist, lots of flair. Casey is incredibly talented, Stefan Grappelli influenced violinist. Got Jacob and Josh, who have been so courteous and supportive and patient with each other, both on drums. We've got James with his sunny disposition on piano, and Ruby on alto, who's just, she's quiet, and then she'll play, and she's so direct and amazing sound. And finally Henry, the father figure of the group, with all the questions and lovely disposition as well. So yeah, they're all gorgeous.
Are we welcome to the stage? Could you bring yourselves off video and off mic? Turn the microphones on as well, so we can have a collective conversation. Brilliant. Well, we actually worked together quite early on, because I was covering for the musicianship group, I think, on Tuesday. So I had the real pleasure of working with you on Tuesday, and then we saw each other again doing the mock session side of things. And I've been sneaking in and out of the combos, hearing everybody play as well. So, Alison, I'm wondering whether you might, with your group, collectively sort of give an outline of the sort of things that you've been working on that make it so that it's like this wouldn't have happened anywhere else. This is unique to our group. So what was the remit, first of all, that you sent to them for the repertoire they needed to learn?
Well, I tried to choose diverse, different styles of tunes. We had a blues, but it was in the form of a sort of chorale to start with, and it's We Shall Overcome, which is a civil rights movement. Sort of the challenge of interracial unionism, and it's incredibly, it's very potent at the moment, and everybody really got into that and was passionate with that. And then we were doing some Charlie Parker. We did Marmaduke, didn't we? And we did some Indian music, which was different as well, ragas, and we learnt some Konakol. And we were doing Tico Tico, another one, which it was very fiery, and everybody had learnt the head at breakneck speed. And then finally we did Dear Old Stockholm as well. So everyone came with so much. They got so much together. They got the Charlie Parker solo down on Marmaduke, for instance. It was brilliant. So we just hit the ground running straight away, and it's
Wondering, Henry, how was it? Because you've had sort of different scenarios of the relevance of the music within what you were doing. So you were working with Michael, looking at making music to film, and then there was myself, sort of very programmatic, telling stories, and then to be learning a piece where the civil rights movement is such a fundamental part of it. How did you feel? Is that the first time you've engaged in thinking about things from a sort of its political relevance?
Yeah, definitely. I don't think personally I've ever played any music with that kind of take on things, and it was great to have the kind of diverse range of things that we were doing, like doing the things with Michael Price to film. I particularly like doing that, and I've never tried making like improvisational music to a video. It was all new, very interesting.
So I think following on, Alison, from what you were just talking about there, I think Dudu Pukwana and Brotherhood of Breath might be something that this group would like to explore, because that's to do with the South African, apartheid and being anti-apartheid, and the UK was very strongly connected with that as well. So it might be something, because the pieces themselves have got such personality in a similar way to We Shall Overcome. So might be something that the group wants to go and explore a little further. James, what was it like learning someone else's solo?
It was really interesting, because normally in a solo section we'd be improvising, and also this was really fast as well, which so very hard. But we all come together, and I think we're all really collectively excited for when we can all play together.
Definitely.
Which is just about a month around the corner, hopefully.
So Casey, you were putting some little videos up while you were actually learning all the repertoire, so people were able to watch your process. You were sharing it with the run-up. So I think it's about a month before we started the summer school, the email went out with all of the links. So how did you go about learning the repertoire? Did you have a sort of method to it, or was it kind of following a whim? How did you get on with that, Casey?
Well, I learned them all by ear before the course, and yeah.
And what point did you decide to share it, to take it, to film it and then share it? Was there a certain point of sort of completion before you thought, yes, I'm ready now to share it with everybody? Or what, did you set the challenge of, I'm going to do one a week, so wherever I am? What was it that made you decide which to share when?
It was more like which one I did first, and then I kept listening till I thought it was ready.
That's something you do a lot, record yourself playing. Is it a helpful thing to do? Yeah, I think that's something we haven't actually talked about much, definitely not collectively. So I think that's something for everyone that's watching to think and bear in mind. It's a really helpful tool. Alison, might you say a few words about that, recording yourself? Why record ourselves?
Yes, I mean, you have to be quite humble. It's about humility, isn't it? You have to listen back and be okay with getting it wrong, and then just work on things. and do it with self-discipline and a kind of, yeah, I can't do that, and that's what I need to practice. But it's often hard to think I can't do something. So yeah, being humble, it's a way to do.
You can't really hear yourself play when you're actually playing, so to actually get the true snapshot, it helps with sort of how we're focusing our sound and even things like our phrasing. Ruby, we worked together in the musicianship, so just for everybody watching, the first hour of 1 hour in the morning, everybody would be in a musicianship group. We slightly staggered it so that there was a bit of a turnaround, but I'm wondering, compared to the things that we were talking about on day one, what would you say the key things are that you're going away with, even if it's not, I really feel I understand this, it might be things you think, I'm really going to look more into this?
Well, I think like I'm more prepared to, like when I'm learning a piece, really look into like the harmonies of it and like understand it, which like previously I might not have been able to do to like the highest level, but I think I'm confident to do that now. So
brilliant. Jacob, how were the sectionals when you did the workshop? I think you've now had sectionals with Katie as well as did you have a one-to-one lesson with Tim?
Yeah, the sectionals were really good actually.
What did you get out of the section? So for everyone watching, we had Mark Hodgson and then also Katie looking at the sort of the relationship between the bass player and the drummer within the rhythm section, and then we had Sam Watts and Kathy talking about the more comping side of things, but not just talking to the two instrumentalists in the rhythm section, really talking to the whole rhythm section, so that they sort of were making an emphasis about it without it being okay, if the guitarist and pianist could go away and have a cup of tea now. It was the relevance of bringing that engine together. Is that something that was new? Have you looked at rhythm section playing before?
Yes, but not to that extent, definitely. It really sort of, I guess, broadened my horizons, if you like, on the subject, I suppose. But yeah, it was really fun, and I haven't really done much with that many of my kind before, if you know what I mean.
Is there something you might take away, and when you're playing with other young musicians or any musician of any age, that you might start to engage with a little bit more, sort of bringing that sound together?
Yeah, I really hope so, because it was great.
Brilliant. James, how do you think about being a band leader? Has this helped you feel more confident about taking things away? Because obviously we're really keen for everybody to go and work with the young musicians they know locally. Do you feel that you might start to band lead and share some of the repertoire?
I really enjoy when everyone all puts their ideas together, and that is such a really nice thing when everyone's bouncing off each other and coming up with stuff. And that's what makes the music so great, is that it's all just like little stems of people's creativity, like all little branches, you could say, or forming a tree, you could say that. And
beautiful.
And it's all joined collectively. And that's why jazz is so great. It's because it's so personal to everyone, and it's how they feel everything, and it's all thrown into the same piece of music.
And I'm sure that you all feel the same as James, and it's something that we feel constantly as musicians, is what we end up doing together is absolutely impossible doing it individually, but also it's more than the sum of all the individuals. If we all did things in our own rooms and then recorded them, brought them together, there just wouldn't be that magic. We have to be together either on this platform or personally. So thank you so much, James. Thank you so much, Alison. Please can the rest of your group remain on mic so that you can give each other and Alison a big round of applause. So if you could unmute yourselves, and I really look forward to seeing all of you very, very soon. Bravo, everybody. Brilliant. Well, thank you so much, everybody that's watching. We've got one more group we're going to talk to, but before we do that, I'd like to introduce to the stage a very dear friend of ours who's been steering the Starship Enterprise. I can feel that we are coming into land, but please could we welcome to the stage our very dear friend, Nick Brown. Hello, Lovey.
Hello.
How's it feel hearing everybody talking about what they've been doing?
It is incredible, and it's so nice to hear that this journey that we've all been on to get us to this place has been one that's definitely been worth taking.
I'm wondering, has Michael left or is he still here?
Michael's gone now, I believe.
Yeah, one of the things that he said to us in our conversation, which has been fundamental, which is that this is not new just for all of the young musicians. This is new for everybody. It's not even new for NYJC. This trying to find ways of working is new for everybody. Everybody's faced with these challenges. And a couple of the young musicians touched on that. I think Otto was saying, you know, that he didn't feel disappointed because he was in it like everybody was in it, and there was no, it was non-negotiable, nothing else we could do about it. So I thought that was very mature attitude. I definitely was stomping around and getting a bit fed up, and "Oh, I can't believe that I'm going to have to go online." But I have to say, I can't believe what we've achieved. It's been unbelievable, and I have learnt so much, and I've really drawn a lot of strength from the young musicians and the tutors. I don't feel that I'm the uber kind of, you know, artistic director who's got a vision. I feel I've started just watching back and seeing what everyone's doing and how we might reassess everything. So it's been one of the most, if not the most profound thing that's ever happened to me in the space of 6 days. I'm wondering, Nick, we would like to make sure that everybody that wants to stay connected will stay connected. So could you remind everybody, first of all, how to get the newsletter so that you definitely get to hear about what we're doing firsthand?
Absolutely. So if you want to receive our newsletter and keep up to date with all things NYJC, it's www.nationalyouthjazz.co.uk/sign up.
And then also we, as everybody knows, we're very committed to make sure that all young musicians who are in love with the music and want to be around the people have access to that, irrespective of their financial background. And obviously at the moment, particularly, there are some people who are really struggling, especially people who've got parents who are freelance. And I just want to commend them and say, you know, bravo, because everybody's really weathering this storm in different ways. And so about a third of our young musicians are on scholarships, not just on the summer school. We've got a wider program doing regional work as well. So if the people watching would like to donate so that we can continue our work, it's been a bit more time consuming doing things online, hasn't it, Nick? So we've really had to really dig deep to be able to do what we do on the budget that we've got. So anybody that could help us so that we could alleviate some of the money and build up the bursary grant, that'd be fantastic. So over to you for how you donate.
Indeed, to make a donation to us, you've got to visit www.nationalyouthjazz.co.uk/donate.
And just to contextualise, normally we charge between this summer school £250 for the week. Normally when it's residential, it's £480 a week, but the true cost of it is £2,000 per person. So we heavily subsidise everything. So obviously we want to thank our funders and those that have donated, Arts Council England, the Department for Education, the Leverhulme, who've given us some money for the 3 years for making sure that we can give scholarships to those that can't afford the enrolment fees. And then we've been getting quite a lot of donations as well from both parents and people that follow us, but also friends of the board, a development board, people that have never met us before. So we're really blessed with that support. I'm going to invite, if I may, to the stage our final group, but by no least, that's poor English. Maybe I won't finish that sentence. By no means, by no least, come and help me, Ralph, another alumnus. Hello Ralph. Hi. Where are you? Ralph Wiles. Thank you so much for joining us, in that you yourself also, like Roland, stepped in at very short notice to take over from one of the tutors that was booked to do this year. Will Glazer, who was due to take this group, moved house and for 30 weeks has been trying to get reliable Wi-Fi. So he had to actually pull out of the summer school. We've actually worked with you a lot on the ambassador scheme, and you're, as I say, you've done the summer school already quite a while back now, went on to study jazz. And then you came and you've been part of the team. You are one of our tutors. So you've been doing some of the regional work and the short course. So how have you enjoyed your week? How does it feel coming back to an organisation that you once were a student and now you're very much a core part of the teaching staff?
It's been fantastic. It's been, I've had a really great week. I did the short course, tutored on the short course a couple of years ago, and so that was my first time back as a tutor on the summer school, and had a great week then. And this has been just as good. I've had a really great time. I've been lucky with such a wonderful group who all worked really hard and learnt the repertoire well in advance, and yeah, I've had a good time.
So might you welcome them to the stage? It'd be great to meet them.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm not sure how many we've got here, but so I've had Ollie, Dominic, and Hugo, who all play the alto saxophone, and
Come
then
and join us, everybody. Keep
so
going.
yeah, Eva on tenor saxophone, Noah on baritone saxophone, and Freddie on the drums.
Hooray! Thank you for being so patient, everybody. It's really great to see you. So I'm just going to flick my gallery so I can see you all. There we are. Hello, everybody. How you doing? Do you want to bring yourselves off mute so that you're on microphone? That'd be brilliant. What a week, eh? Is it? We have had such a great time working together as well when we went around the groups and doing various things. And then Noah, we had a lovely hour where we had a baritone solo, not an hour-long baritone solo, baritone lesson, and that was great fun. And we were supported by David Ferris, who's another person who was on the summer school and has been supporting us during the week. So I'm wondering, is it what you expected? Having been sent the list of repertoire, is the end product what you were expecting? Freddie?
Yes. It's been tricky actually, because with the Zoom, getting everything together, and I expected that actually, because I'd never done anything like that, Zoom or BandLab. So it was really nice to get into that, and it was really good to learn the tunes with everyone on virtual.
So Noah, do you feel that you've made some new band friends, some new musical friends that you're going to play with again in the future?
Yes, I believe I have. It's quite fun because we'd sometimes go into breakout rooms and we'd work with each other. Because with Zoom, if we were to play really slow ballad type pieces, we could make it happen, and so for it to actually work without without the latency affecting us, and so we can definitely meet up hopefully in the future and get to know each other more.
And as we've said earlier on, Nick is definitely going to be in touch with all of you. Obviously, because of safeguarding, with some of you, we need to get across the whole programme. We need to get permission from parents for that sharing of emails. So we'll coordinate that, but you'll all be in touch with each other very soon, definitely. Eva, what was it like having going off and working in the sax sectionals? Because that was a nice opportunity. Have you ever worked with so many saxophonists and really got inside things like that?
I think it was great because so I'm in a few big bands and classes like outside of NYJC, but with the sax sectionals, it was like just saxophones. So I had one with Jason Yard first of all, and we were really talking about tone there and like how to improve your tone, which was really interesting, like hearing from everyone else and really focusing on like our individual sounds, but together. So that was a nice touch.
And so do you feel that that's something that you'll carry on building on?
Yeah, I hope so. He gave some really useful tips about like overtones and subtones and things like that. So hopefully I can like integrate that into my playing for the future.
Brilliant. Well, because we're very much looking forward to hearing the music that you've recorded in October as well. And already from working together with everybody, I'm really impressed with what great sounds each of you got, but also how different all of your sounds are as well, which is one of the wonderful things about the music making, is that we enjoy and celebrate the difference. That's part of the group sound, is all the individual personalities. So Hugo, how was it working with so many saxophonists? I should imagine it was really inspiring to meet different people sort of playing in different styles and different ways.
Yeah, it's actually like it's amazing to be in like a kind of session with like so many saxophonists. I've only ever actually like been let alone in one room with about 3, and so especially in the Tuesday sectionals there were so many of us. It was amazing. I really enjoyed it.
This tradition of back to Ralph, this tradition of a piano-less, or even in this case really almost a rhythm sectionless. I love the idea of Freddie being on the kit. That's just so beautiful. And as a horn player, I really want to be joining the band, because sometimes it's really nice not to have a guitar or a piano, just to have that space. Ralph, might you say a little bit about sort of examples of that?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, funnily enough, we didn't have a rhythm section, and yet actually what we spent a lot of time working on was rhythm. So we were thinking lots about how we can play without the bass player and the pianist, and how we can as horn players kind of use the techniques we've got available to us to fulfill that role and create textures and use different sounds to accompany each other and that kind of thing.
Brilliant. Well, I love that idea of the fact that everybody is responsible for everything. So, you know, rhythm is something that we all need to involve in our playing. We don't just leave it to rhythm section players. And I've been in many bands in the past where rhythm section players have actually got really cross, and quite rightly so, with us horn players, saying, first of all, keep your own time, stop relying on us, but also, can you be a bit more, you know, effervescent and rhythmic? And as you know from playing my music, I tend to be very rhythmic in my writing. I love things like That's the Jazz Police is looking for people that are rhythmic. I don't know if you heard it go by. People like Maceo Parker and all those kind of things where they're keeping the effervescent energy going. Dominic, I'm wondering as we wrap up today whether you might share with us what we are looking forward to hearing in October. I think we might not quite be ready with some of the pieces, but there might have been some progress made this afternoon. But also we can also get back together again before October to actually finish recording. So Dominic, how has it been recording the pieces?
Yeah, it's been good fun. We've sort of stopped quite a lot to we'd listen to the chords and just be told try improvising, and which was really good to do because it helped a lot.
Oh, I see. While you're doing the actual recording process, you kind of just parked it up for a moment and then actually looked inside the music again just to check things out. Is that what you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. So where do you feel you are, Dominic, with the recording? Is there something that's finished? Or is there something you would all like to get back together again and carry on recording?
So we've been obviously recording on the Band Lab, and I think we've all recorded. We just need to put them all together now. So,
oh, great. So just a bit of, which is what most of the bands have got to do. That's fantastic. Were you in, Ralph, were they in with either Jake or Olga this afternoon?
No, we were in with Jake yesterday afternoon.
Oh, great. Yeah. Brilliant. Well, I want to congratulate all of you for everything you've done. I think you've done amazingly. And like I was saying with everybody, this group, I've really seen a progression from the time that we first all met right through to today and visiting everybody. It's been a real pleasure working with you, Ralph. And
likewise.
Really thank you so much for stepping in. But we were already due to involve you next year. So if you're all okay, see you again next year.
Absolutely. Always. Yeah.
Brilliant. And obviously, I would like to invite you back to do one of the hashtag National Youth Jazz Wednesdays, because we're really keen, both yourself and Sam, to talk to you about the projects that you're involved in and get inside that side of things a bit more, to hear about some of the alumnus and alumni and all the different permutations of the Latin word. So I'm going to now please bring Nick back to the stage. But before I do that, please, everybody, can you keep it on microphone? Could you give yourselves and Ralph a massive round of applause? Because I think you've got so much to in not too distant future. Can't wait to hear you all play live together. Have a really good rest of the summer, everybody. So over to Nick. You're going to join me, please.
Hello.
So this is it.
This is it indeed.
Wow, what a week. What a week. Thank you, everybody, for bearing with us as we shared it. I just thought it was really important. I didn't want to come and narrate what's been happening, and I didn't want just the tutors. I wanted the young musicians so that we can really see inside what's been happening this week and meet all the personalities. Mm-hmm. But there are people that have helped us that we haven't met yet, and I just thought it'd be really lovely, Nick, if you might do some of the thank yous for the facilitators and the team that's been supporting us.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, going on behind the scenes, you can't even imagine some of the stuff that's been happening. And there's been a team of nine because we lost one yesterday and we had a bit of a changeover. But there's been a team of 9 facilitators making all the kind of Zoom transitions into BandLab, into anything that we've been using, absolutely effortless. And I think we just need to say a massive thank you for that amazing team that have come together and have made this kind of week.
Can we name them? It would be lovely to actually give them a name. And if anyone's online afterwards, we'll give them a big round of applause. So let's hear who they all are, and then we'll unmute and give them a big thank you.
Absolutely. So we've got to say a big thanks to Claire. Claire was our head facilitator. We've got Daisy Holder all the way from Birmingham. We've We've got James Romain, Dave Ferris, Martha Littlehales. We've got Harry Brain. We've got Henry. We've got VJ Patel, and then we've got the lovely Tina Baston.
Brilliant. So anyone that's still part of the Zoom, please could you join me by taking yourselves off mute. Let's give them a big round of applause to thank them for everything that they've done. Absolutely, because I'd just like to say to everyone that's watching, it would have been impossible. The toing and the throwing and the, oh my gosh, just to get people in and out. If the tutors had been asked to do that while teaching as well, we wouldn't have made it to the end of the week. And quite rightly so. A lot of people would have just thought this was way too much, and would have been, I for one would have been one of the first people to implode.
I mean, it was that moment where we had 80 people in the waiting room on one day, and the team just stepped up and just got it sorted. They let the right people in, making sure we were absolutely safe, and that was just really great to see.
And then also in the first couple of days, particularly, you know, it was becoming apparent which of the young musicians were really struggling just with Wi-Fi and things like that. And that's one of the things that's been fascinating about doing this program, is that I've often heard, you know, politicians talking about part of their manifesto is to make sure that everybody has access to Wi-Fi. I never really understood fully why that was such a big issue, but seeing some of the struggles and the patience of the youngsters that were having those struggles and challenges, and then also the fabulous support they were getting from the facilitators, I totally understand now, and it's something I'm probably going to be campaigning really hard for, that we all do get that right. So bravo, everybody. We've also had some amazing tutors that have joined us, as well as the team that we've seen today, and I'm going to be welcoming them back to the stage in a moment. But we've also had a few instrumental tutors helping with the one-to-one lessons. So we've had Jeremy Price, who's head of jazz at the Royal Conservatoire of Birmingham. We've had Jessica Radcliffe, who's a singer, and she's actually in interchange with the band that Alison and myself were talking about. Katie Patterson came in and did some sectionals on drums. Again, a wonderful member of the band interchange. Malcolm Earl Smith, trombone player, came in to do trombone sectionals. Matt Holborn came and worked with Casey, which was lovely, looking at the violin, so really getting inside the role of the violin and that idiosyncrasy. You know, it's really important that everybody owns that of their instruments. What is it that's unique about my instrument, and how has that found its way within our music? Mick Foster, who was also talking to us on Wednesday, but he came in and did some saxophone lessons, a real core member of NYJC's team, and also a very significant member of my own musical family, along with Roland. And then Tim Giles, who came in to do some of the one-to-one drum teaching because of Will not being able to join us online. But obviously the star members, I'm getting goosebumps now. I'm excited to bring them back, and I'm also sad to be saying goodbye. I think before I bring them on, I would like to say a personal note. I'd like to say that I didn't know how this week was going to go, and I personally didn't know what to expect. And I didn't know what it was going to show me. And I have to be really honest, I didn't know if what it showed me is something I wanted to be part of. I was really worried on my own behalf about my own relationship with all of this, and was quite prepared to say maybe this isn't the right place for me to be and the right person to be leading it. But I'm really thrilled to say that it has shown me so much, thanks to all the young musicians, thanks to all the tutors, thanks to all the support, and the fact that people like Michael Price talked to me very early on about ways in which I can make sure that we had that sort of great integrity, and that the spirit of the creativity, the group sharedness, and everybody's really bought into that, both the tutors and the young musicians. So I'm really thrilled to say I'll be back in September. But I am looking forward to not sitting on this particular part of my sofa where I've been for 4.5 months looking into Zoom. So without further ado, please could you welcome back to the stage those of you that are still here, to say a huge thank you. I want to thank, please, Alison Corley, Byron Wallen, Jake Wilson, I'm not sure if he's still here, Jason Yard, Kathy Dyson, Mark Hodgson, Michael Price, who we know I think has already left, Olga Fitzroy, who had to go back to do some more mixing on the Crown, so she's not able to stay with us, Ralph Wild, Roland Sutherland, Sam Watts, and obviously we've got our wonderful friend there already with us, Nick Brown. Can I thank you all from the bottom of my heart? It's been absolutely, as I said, it's been... I can't remember what I said earlier, and I came up with a really good catchphrase. I've totally forgotten it now. But anyway, it's been a real pleasure, and it's been a real honour, and I feel it's been really authentic. All of the magic that we're all known for is still here. So while I very much look forward to seeing you all in person, playing in person, teaching in person, sitting and eating and drinking and laughing in person, I want to say a huge thank you. I know everybody else does as well. So please could we take ourselves, anyone that's left on Zoom, please take ourselves off microphone and give ourselves a massive round of applause, because this is the National Youth Jazz Collective 2020 Summer School. Bravo, everybody.
Yeah.
Nice one, everyone.
Well done, everyone.
Thank you. Well
It's
done.
been wonderful. Yeah, terrific.
Remind everybody that we will be sharing our work on the 1st and the 8th. Jason! The 1st and the 8th of October. We'll be celebrating what we've done online. We'll be celebrating a festival. We will be back online explaining how we're going to get the young musicians together so they can meet in person. And each group will get, one at a time, we'll get the groups together. So they have a day of rehearsal and then a live stream. Ultimately, obviously, during the next academic year, we're very much hoping to get a festival of people together where we can play to a live audience as well. But the most important thing of all is the fact that we will be back on the 10th of September, and there will be a new programme of activity. This blended learning will be part of it as long as it needs to be. But in the meantime, I'd like to wish you all a really lovely rest of the summer. I want to thank everybody again and say what a wonderful time it's been. And I'm looking forward to having a little bit of a rest and seeing you all in September. All the best, everybody. NYJC.
Yeah, that's one.
Well done, everyone.
Yeah, good work.
That we need to thank, and that's Issie Barratt. Definitely.
Absolutely, yeah.
Thanks,
Nice one,
Izzy.
Izzy.
Tremendous.
Smash it, absolutely smash it.
Tremendous, Izzy. Wonderful. And thanks, Dave, as well. Dave.